when my mom was still alive, I would call her and say, hey, how much of the allspice, how much of the cinnamon do I throw into the kofta? I said, I need some measurement. She's like, she goes, you just, you toss, you taste. And so
one of the things I thought was interesting, I eat at Souk all the time. Like, it's my favorite restaurant. But there's so, like, it's kind of like you took a little chunk of you at all the stages of your, like, tell us about that menu. Cause it's not like, I don't even know exactly how, if like a friend comes into town and I say, hey, we're going down to Souk, what kind of a restaurant is it? And it's kind of like, well, it's Mediterranean, but it's got some Italian. And then it's got like, how would you, coming from the horse's mouth, if you will, like, how would you describe A, what it is, and B, where it came from? Because it's an evolution of your life, I think.
Right. Well, being Middle Eastern, I grew up on all the traditional Lebanese foods. So my whole goal was there's some great people in town that do some great Middle Eastern, the Beirut, Byblos, Poco Piatti, which I have respect for all those guys in the utmost respect. But when I transitioned from closing the Italian restaurant and went into this project, it was, I don't want to be like everybody else. So I call it a hip twist on the Mediterranean and the Lebanese food. So I just changed everything. You have your common hummus. Now I'm putting crispy short rib and lamb ragu and spicy banana peppers and calabrese peppers and roasted tomatoes and the fattoush at most places. I called my quinoa salad. So I mixed a little quinoa in with the parsley and the sumac and put a different twist on it. And the tabbouleh, instead of, like bulgur wheat, the traditional, it has quinoa on that. So I just started to put different twists on things. And I had time waiting for, my liquor ticket and some of those other things to really experiment. And, kitchen was up and going. I was just waiting on a permit to get going, as far as the liquor ticket went. That was the last step. So I had a lot of time to play around in that kitchen and mess with. So I brought a lot of my pizzas that I had at La Scola, and the Wild Boar Bolognese used to be veal over there, and I changed it over to boar. And most restaurants have arrayas, which is like my kofta egg rolls. So I put my kofta in egg rolls, which is totally off the. We were going to me and Kara were going to a 4th of July party while I was still waiting to open. And I think we were in Kroger and we're going down the aisle, and we happened to be in the vegan organic aisle. And I just happened to look over. I had lamb in the cart, and I just happened to see egg roll wraps. And just something kicked in, and I'm like, I'm going to grab those and I'm going to deep fry those things, and we're going to take them to this party. I'm going to do some yogurt sauce with them. Now they're the number one selling item on the menu.
They're awesome. They're really good.
4th of July, like, hey, here we go. We're going to bring something different to this party. So, so it's a combination of when I had the burger bars. Some of the burgers that I do for brunch are some of the stuff that I had over there. The kofta burger is something that I used to run over there. So it's a mix of. I just had this, I had this big storage unit full of. Recipes and things I've done over the past, and a lot of my features that I used to do in the past were things that I was gonna. I mean, this has always been in the back of my mind, and so that's where all that whole arsenal of all. And there's a ton more. I just haven't revamped the menu yet.
So how many things are like grandma's old recipe or things that you've had in the arsenal, and how many things are I'm walking through Kroger's? Or I've been thinking through, how much because it's all got a little twist to it.
Yeah, the kibbe is my mom and my grandmother's recipe, and it's a little bit different than everybody else's. It eats differently. The kofta is every village, everybody does their stuff. Every village, I was born over there, so every little village does everything their own little twist. When my mom was still alive, I would call her and say, hey, how much of the allspice, how much of the cinnamon do I throw into the kofta? I said, I need some measurement. She's like, She goes, you just, you toss, you taste. And so, I was telling some guys the other day that's the way it is. And that's why a lot of the guys in the kitchen, I don't let them make the kibbe. I don't let them make the kafta. I don't let them make the hummus. I do all that myself because I can't give them the measurements.
Yeah.
It's a little taste of this, and I have to.
Yeah.